So again, let's just really quick talk about what I'm going to be doing here. I'm doing a first impressions tier list. I have done a full game 100% playthrough, and I've done a pre-hooktail pit. So I'm going to be ranking the badges based on those two runs and my previous experience with the original, because a lot of things between the remake and the original are the same as far as like usefulness goes. It's not going to be purely challenge run tailored. It's going to be a little more general. I can't say that I'm going to be ranking based on like a first timer playthrough, but it will be a little more, it will not be so hard focused on like challenge running specifically, but challenge runs will play a big part in my opinions and just like general usefulness. With that said, we'll just go from left to right. Let's begin, shall we? Also, the NAs, man, I really want to put Peekaboo in here, but I'm not going to because I know a lot of people like Peekaboo. Oh, slow should go here. So I'm going to rate it. Oh, sorry, the L and W emblems also should not be in here. So anyway, let's talk. Let's just go over it. Now I'm going to explain everything. And remember, this is first impressions. I will be going over, I will have a more detailed tier list for all three of these at some point in the future. Probably edited and recorded, not streamed. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, okay. I guess we should talk about the criteria. So we're going to be talking about usefulness versus normal enemies, usefulness versus bosses, availability, BP cost, like compared to what the usefulness of it, I guess. All of those will be taken into account. Price, as far as like buying coins, does not matter too much to me. I don't really care. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm just going to put it in C tier always to begin. Let's talk about All or Nothing. So All or Nothing over the years has kind of fallen because everyone thought it was incredible because it's 4 BP compared to 6 for a +1 to both jump and hammer. And all you have to do is not miss the action command, which is pretty easy to do. Two reasons why this badge, well, one major reason why this badge has fallen is because its availability is trash. You only get it in Chapter 8. So you can't fight many enemies with it. If you've already done the pit, like if you do the pit after Chapter 7, it's not even useful there. Like, you just don't get a lot of use out of it. Now, is it good compared to Power Plus? Like, is it better? Yeah, probably. But the availability really kills it. One thing that's really hitting me is the power bounce timing. Because power bounce has that weird fourth bounce at 1 frame, it'll catch a lot of people off guard. I'm not saying that that's enough to like really bring it down because you can just practice and get better, but it is something to consider. So that is kind of bringing it down even more. That said, it is still a +1 through and through, and I definitely equipped it basically as soon as I got it. So for me, it's a solid B. It gets the power up, but you get it so late, and the power bounce thing, I can't even remember if I made it A last time, but B sounds right. The availability really kills it. I could see low A, but probably top of B for now. Okay, let's talk about Attack Effects G. Attack Effects G, I really should make like a niche tier, but this badge is good for one thing and one thing only, and that's for Hooktail. It's hard to decide whether, it's hard to say this isn't an A, but I mean, it does have a use, and that use is Hooktail. But Hooktail, it's not really needed for Hooktail. It's not like you can just win. There's tons of ways to deal with Hooktail without Attack Effects G. Instead of, like, it should be an NA, in my opinion, but I know that it's like, it's got that use, so I'm gonna put it in F. Probably top of F. Well, maybe not top of F. I don't know where it's gonna end up, but it's not, it has one use. I don't know, do first attack and bump attack belong in NA? I mean, this badge is great for traversing. I love that I can go through any area right now in my endgame file and not have to worry about anything, but like, maybe I put first attack. Okay, first attack is 0 BP, which is pretty nice. And like, it does help when going back for troubles and stuff. And it's not like you need bump attack, because you can first strike basically any enemy with the hammer. And even jumping isn't that hard to do. I mean, and you could have this badge equipped at all times, basically. I guess we'll just put it, I don't think I can put it in S tier. That seems a little much for me, but I could see maybe A tier. I mean, you get it early too. Like, Frankly literally messages you about it. Okay, well, if I'm putting first attack in A tier, I'm gonna put... Okay, bump attack really varies. Because bump attack is either great if you haven't finished Troubles and recipes and stuff. But if you have, it's absolutely worthless. So I'm feeling like it like could fluctuate between maybe B or E for me. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and put it in D. Because 5 VP is still a lot, but like it's not the end of the world. But it is like it is easier when you can just ride on Yoshi and fly through enemies and not have to worry about anything. Like I can't really knock it too much. But if the pit is the very last thing you do, it's like F tier for sure because it has zero use. Then if you've done everything already, but you know, I mean after doing a PHP, it's insane because you literally can fly through each chapter. But that's why I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. I think D tier is good, is a good spot because you could just not equip this and equip first attack and first strike. And it's not like getting into one encounter is the end of the world. One or two encounters is the end of the world. That's about as far as I'm gonna go for these two. Charge E. Alright, this badge, I feel like I've been using charge strats. Okay, I shouldn't say charge strats, but I use charge a lot. I've been using charge in a lot of my strategies lately for really precise FP manip for HP and point swap. So this is, I think it's better than we've been giving it credit because it's like something that you can slap on for 1 BP, and if you have your FP routing good, like done, you can really get some good stuff done. You can do it for like one of the super bosses. You have a pretty good use for this. Yeah, so I can't remember where the Glitz Pit rated. Actually, let's see where there. Yeah, I think it's a little better than what we rated it, honestly. Okay, so yeah, like the thing about charge is the +2 is really nice, and again, if you have your FP routing down, this can be a very powerful tool for you. Because it just stacks on top of your existing stuff. I think I'm gonna put it in B. Over all or nothing, for sure. Charge is literally the same thing, by the way. It's literally, these two are interchangeable for me. I don't really care which one's better, which one's not. These two are basically the same. They have the same function. It's to charge up, like get a charge, and have really specific FP routing to help you get into peril better, or danger. Usually peril, but sometimes danger. So they're really good. I've been using them a lot more than I feel like I used to. I feel like it opens up a lot. It just feels kind of insane that you can just add +2. Actually, I might put these in A tier. We'll see how I feel after the rest, when I look at the rest of the list. Okay, Chill Out is good utility. Okay, Chill Out is a Dazzle badge. Chill Out doesn't stop projectiles? Wait a minute. That's crazy. Oh, that's right, because those aren't first strikes anymore. They're just damage, right? I don't know if that's enough to lower it. I think C tier is pretty okay. I think it's outclassed by first attack. It's actually a good combo with first attack, just in case. And it's really great for pit runs if you want to go fast, because once you get a setup where you can just multi-bounce Power Shell or something, or whatever you're gonna do to take out a whole loadout, I think this is fine. So I think this is probably where Chill Out. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna put it in D right above Bump Attack. I don't think C. A whole tier above Bump Attack seems wild. It is good. It's good utility, but it's not like I'm equipping it just basically for the pit. I'm not equipping it for anything else. Okay, close call and close. Let's do close call P first. All right. Well, all right. I gotta lay it out for you guys straight up. I'm not an evasion guy. I've never liked evasion. I do not like unreliable stuff. And it's no different in the remake. I did not use these badges once my entire playthrough. So these are not the best, in my opinion. Especially Close Call P, because if a partner is in danger and or peril, and you don't want them to attack, swap them out to a partner with more health. You have so much HP amongst all your partners. So you don't need this, really. Just swap them out. And if you're dying above 5, it's like not even good. Like, it's just bad. So this is going straight to F tier. I'm sorry. Close Call P is bad. Close Call is a little better because Mario does not have like the ability to just swap to another Mario. But again, like, you don't need Close Call too much. It can come in clutch sometimes, but personally, I'm not a huge fan still. Close Call also kind of sucks. I'm just not really seeing, besides like pre-hooktail pit and other pit variants, I'm just not seeing a use for Close Call. If you're just going into a boss with no strategy and just blindly attacking, yeah, this is gonna be fine because it'll save you a couple times, but like otherwise, nah. So I'm gonna put it in E because Mario is more valuable, but yeah, I can't really put it any higher than that. Ooh, damage, dodge, P. I think these badges are better than some people give them credit for. Actually, you can do some pretty cool stuff with damage dodges. And I used to think that damage dodge was really bad for partners because, you know, partners have a lot of health, especially once you upgrade them. So it's like, what is this even doing for you? But I have recently been playing around with point swapping full FP onto a partner. Like, say you have like 10 or 15 FP, and then you and then you point swap that onto a partner and use damage dodge for like bigger attacks. So I'm kind of a fan, actually. I'm becoming more of a fan of damage dodge P, because you can put a partner where Mario is against bosses pretty easily with point swap. So like damage dodge gets some use out of that to manipulate HP. So I think it's actually not too bad. Now, do I still think it's great? No, but I do think it's better than what I used to think. So I don't know. Do I put it in? It's either top of E or below D for me. Like, it's not applicable in every scenario, but you can get some cool uses out of it. There's also, like, in normal battles, I think damage dodge P is definitely worse than normal damage dodge. So I want to take that into account too. But I didn't equip either any defensive badges basically when I was doing stuff. I didn't equip too many. I didn't really abuse it because I was trying to just see boss moves most of the time. I think I'm gonna put it high E for now. And then damage dodge is basically the same thing as damage dodge P, except damage dodge is a little more useful in Mario, who I generally keep around 10 to 15 health. So it gets some use. It's not too bad. It's really good in Chapter 2. I think it's basically the same thing for Mario, but it's a little better because Mario is just a little more valuable. So like in early pit and earlier chapters, you can get some pretty decent use out of damage dodge. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I may move damage dodge P. Like, you know what? I actually am. I'm gonna put it in D, but on the lower end. I think that's more reflective of like where it should be. It should be on the lower end of the same tier as damage dodge. Okay, defend plus P. Okay, I think defend plus P is really bad. For the same reasons that close call P is bad, your partners have an insane amount of health. This is just largely unnecessary because of it. Like, one extra defense point is not, like, if your partner gets low, this isn't gonna, maybe it'll save you from an attack, but you could just swap out to a different partner. It's not really gonna make that much of a difference. And it's way more BP. It's way more BP. Damage dodges are only 2 BP. That's pretty cheap. This is 5. That's way more. That's a whole level up's worth of BP that you need. Yeah, this one's going to F, brothers. I would use damage dodge before I'd use close call. I'm sorry, not damage. Defend plus P. Okay, defend plus is a little better. Defend plus has some uses if you want to not use defend for a strategy and you want to actually do something with Mario on that turn. But this can also mess up some damage numbers, and it's pretty easy without any defense at all. Like, sometimes it's better to take a full hit and then use damage dodge than it is to, like, just decrease both. Especially when it comes to, like, danger, last stand shenanigans. So, but it's better than What is it better than? It's better than defend plus P. So I'm putting it in E. It's just a little better. Yo, what up, E-Man? That is true, but I'm not really taking the super guarding into account. I truly don't think these badges are even that good, even if you're not good at super guarding, so I think they're just bad. Alrighty, let's talk about double dip E. Now, this badge slaps, as do all the double dips do. Double dip is the creme de la creme of getting into peril. You don't need to do anything. Double dip, point swap, whatever other item you want. You're done. You're in peril at 5 FP. That's all you need. And thus, you can sometimes bypass boss attacks entirely. You can do some really wacky stuff with FP, even not at 5. And if you have 2 of them, you can triple dip, which can be useful. It's not as good as double dip because you have to go through the entire pit to get the second one, but triple dip is not bad, especially at 10 FP. Like, you can find ways, like charge and triple dip is actually pretty freaking good, guys. Like, whoa. Yeah, it's pretty good. You can stack charges with hot sauce or stuff. You can put on a power punch. I mean, it's pretty good. It's an amazing badge. And so this is where it goes, A tier. And the thing is you don't need double dip or double dip E for anything. You don't need it. It's just a cool way to easily get into peril. And it's a cool way, and it's useful in pit challenges too, because sometimes you go up against 5 elite wizards and you could just double dip 2 thunder rages and use another thunder rage or a fire flower or something, or peril coops and finish the fight. Like, double dipping or triple dipping items, like attack items, is not bad. Like, double dipping 2 Zest Dynamites is 14 AoE. That's not bad. That's basically Supernova for 4 FP. I don't know, not bad. And it's only 3 BP. So yeah, both the double dips are basically in the same spot. They kind of serve the same function, because if you're doing Mario centric, you use double dip B most of the time, and if you're going partner centric, you use double dip. It depends on how you're, who you're using as your main attacker and how you're trying to power them up, or get into peril. Sometimes you have both of them use double dip. Again, it really depends. There's tons of possibilities with this badge. So yeah, it's insane. Okay, Double Pain. You might be wondering why Double Pain is not in NA. Well, that's because Double Pain actually has quite a few uses that you may not be aware of. Namely, that if Mario is at an odd numbered HP value, he can easily get into peril by taking more damage. He can get into peril more quickly. So a really good example is the Rockhawk short I just released a few days ago. In that battle, I charge to get it to 9 FP, point swap to get to 9 HP, and then Rockhawk deals 4 damage. With Double Pain on, that's 8 damage. And he always attacks the front, and Mario was in front, so Mario takes 8 damage, getting into peril. It's actually insane. And you can do more. You can do more with that. That's just one use. A really common use is to be at 15 HP and guard against Gloomtail Breath or Grotus, or don't guard Grotus Lightning. Those deal 7. So you take 14 damage and you're in peril immediately. No, nothing else required. It's actually kind of crazy how Double Pain can turn some boss attacks into easy peril setups. And there's more than what I just listed. There's way more ways to get into peril with Double Pain. And you might be thinking that the double damage is kind of insane. And I will agree that it is insane if you're not routing your HP like this. It is harder. Yes, if you're just playing the game. But once you kind of understand how to route those boss attacks to your advantage, Double Pain actually goes up. I think it can be used in a lot more strategies. I've been finding myself using it more than I previously thought. I think I put this in E tier last time, but I actually think it might be bottom D. I really think it's being used more. I've been using it more, so that's where I'm going to put it. It's been It's really fun to use. Give it a try if you haven't. And the craziest thing about it is, unfortunately it doesn't affect the partner, but you can kind of abuse that to your advantage. So you can do some really fun stuff with different attack values, putting both Mario and partner into peril on like a group attack, like Grodus's Lightning. It's pretty cool. Okay, Feeling Fine P. All right, I gotta be honest with you guys. The Feeling Fines, they suck. They're absolute trash. They're not good. The second you learn how to guard moves, it's done. It's a waste of 4 BP. I don't know what you're doing with this badge. Stop it. And it doesn't protect against freeze. Just stop it. It's not good. Now, that being said, it does have a couple uses. It's good for Bone Tail. It's good for Shadow Queen Breath. And it's good for Gloom Tail if you're trying to not guard his Poison Breath to take damage to get into peril. So it does have some uses. But the thing is, with Gloom Tail, you could just reset if he poisons. So yeah, it's really not that great. It's really... And you don't get these until Chapter 7. Like the end of Chapter 7. It's just wild because like the availability also kind of like... Well, I don't know if sleep is the same for Mario and partner. If it is, then this kind of does go up a little. Because getting Sleepy Sheeped would be a killer if you can't wake up for 5 turns or whatever. That would be insane. So I would give that to it. Maybe sleep does work the same. Okay, you know what? I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll put both of these because they're basically the same. I'll put them into E tier. The bottom of E tier. Because of the sleep thing. And because you can use it in some ways. If this saves you from sleep, then I think that's good. Okay, Fire Drive. Now this is a move that a lot of people like. This is hands down the best hammer move in the game. For sure. Even with its 5 FP cost. It is insane. But apparently one of its best uses, which is locking Grodus into never attacking, is gone. And it's really not that great except for like pre-hook tail pit and lower. You can buy it or grab it earlier from the pit. You can buy it. I don't even know when you can buy it, after chapter 4 or 5 or something. But it's just like, once you get to that point, your partners and you, Mario, are super strong. You don't need it for chapter 2. You really don't need it for chapter 3. You don't really need it for chapter 4 because of the clefs. Could be good for daisies. Chapter 5 is not like good for Fire Drive at all. 6 is, well, 6 might be okay. 7 Fire Drive actually goes up because all the icy enemies, and then you get the moon clefs and it doesn't matter. So Fire Drive is good in the pit, but it's outclassed pretty heavily by everything else in the actual game itself. It is not very good. You don't really need it. Prologue Pit also does not exist right now. So Fire Drive's big factor, its big X factor is gone for me. I still think it's okay. The pit really helps bring it up because in early pit runs, it's very, very good. Like easily one of your best moves. Once you get to a certain level of power, it's just completely unnecessary and inefficient in terms of FP. So I'm putting it probably above All or Nothing right here in B tier. Okay, let's talk about one of my personal favorites, Flower Finder. In my BP only run, I put on Flower Finder and I basically never took it off, and it's insane. This badge is great everywhere. The pit, it's great in normal battles. It literally saves you BP because you don't need the flower savers as much with Flower Finder. It's very good. That being said, it's not perfect. There are definitely times where I was like, ooh, I still need more FP. But it is a very good badge. If you have not used Flower Finder before and you are using flower savers, I implore you, next time you play this game, or if you haven't finished yet, go get Flower Finder from Dazzle and put it on and watch your FP barely drop. And I had it on basically the whole time unless it was a boss. So it's going right here. Not about double dips, but about first step. Flower savers aren't bad. They're just inefficient sometimes. It depends on the move, really. Like, if you're using Flower Saver P on Bobbery's Bombast, you are getting basically no value. But if you're using it on PowerShell or Multibomb, you're getting quite a bit of value out of it. Because you save, the more moves you use in a battle, the better this badge becomes. Now, battles are usually too fast for it to be super impactful. Unless your FP cost is really low, so I'm talking 2, 3, 4 FP. Anything higher than that, Flower Saver starts to get a little meh. Because battles can be ended very quickly, and so you're basically not saving enough FP for it to be useful. Now, combined with Flower Saver, even just one of these can be huge. Especially if you use it on something that's like 2 FP, like Spin Jump or Multi-Bounce. Even something that's 3 FP, like PowerShell. Very good. I know I'm listing off Mario moves, but they're kind of the same. So I think Flower Saver P is still pretty good, but it's not like amazing. So I'll put it in B. I think Flower Saver... Okay, I think Flower Saver is probably actually a little better. I think I used to think Flower Saver P was better, but Mario has a lot of low FP moves, like Multi-Bounce and Spin Jump, and his Power Bounce is 3 FP. Power Jump and Power Smash are 2 FP. Like, Piercing Blow, 2 FP. Not that you're really going to be using Piercing Blow, but... So I think this is probably just... I think they're about the same, but I think Mario's is better. Let's look at another favorite of mine. FP Drain. FP Drain reduces your attack by 1, and you gain 1 FP when you do an attack. You might think that's pretty bad, but actually, this is one of the most efficient FP savers for bosses. I'm not a big fan. This badge is okay for like the pit and stuff, but Flower Saver or Flower Finder really kind of overshadows it in my opinion. It's really bosses. You can save a lot of BP with 1 FP drain compared to the Flower Savers. Like, if you have 10 FP, or if you have 5 FP, I'm sorry, you can Power Bounce at 5 FP, get your 1 FP back, and then be able to multi-bonk the next turn. Or, like, in that same turn. Which is pretty huge if you've routed your FP where you can do that. It opens up a lot of low FP options. And the one attack usually doesn't matter too much because you can skyrocket your power so much, especially with the new power lift, that it's like, I don't know, I feel like FP drain could be really useful. The FP drain is not like 64. You only get 1 no matter how many hits you do. If it was like 64, FP drain would be S tier. Like immediately it would be S tier. But the thing is, so the big downfall of this badge is that it's really only useful for bosses, and you have to be really specific with your strategy to make this work. Like, you can't just slap FP drain on because then your damage is off, and sometimes it just doesn't matter for the FP. Like, sometimes it's better to just put out a saver or an FP plus. So I actually think this is our first C tier right here. Ooh, and now let's talk about FP plus. FP plus is incredible because you can just upgrade BP and then give yourself 5 FP. You get 2 of them naturally. You can buy more from the parlor. 3 BP, so 1 level up's worth of BP for FP. This badge is great. Sometimes when you're fighting bosses, you want a little extra FP for your strategy. Sometimes you want a little extra FP in general. It's great. It's a great badge. Now, you could just upgrade FP, but what's really powerful about FP Plus is the versatility you get out of being able to swap your HP and FP value. Let's talk about HP Plus later. The ability to swap your FP's max on the fly is very powerful. Because again, you could have a boss where you just want to double dip something at 5 FP, and then the next boss you're like, well wait, now I want to do charge triple dip to get into peril, or I want to use Rally Wink Power Bounce in the same turn, which needs 10 FP without any savers, right? So FP plus, extremely powerful. So we're putting it right here. I'm gonna put it above the double dips. Oh, Hammer Throw. Oh, Hammer Throw. What did this game do to you? Hammer Throw is already in the top 10 worst badges of all time. And somehow, some way, the remake makes it worse. Hammer Throw, which you still get in Chapter 4, by the way. Now pierces defense. Oh, sick. It pierces defense. Awesome. Thanks for the buff. But now, it's only 2 base damage. 2 base damage to hit 1 enemy and pierce defense? What? No! So if I have the Ultra Hammer, I can deal 6 damage to a Hyper Cleft with Piercing Blow, or flip every Cleft with Quake Hammer. But if I want to hit a Cleft in the back, it's 2 damage? Oh my god. It's ridiculous. It's so wild how they nerfed this badge. So now you have to stack attack to make it deal decent damage, when you could just spin jump or earth tremor or use a partner or quake hammer or piercing blow. Oh, let's stack it. Oh, now it's doubling FP use every time. Oh, this badge sucks. Its damage in the original was your hammer damage, but it didn't pierce. Oh, +1 with stacks? Oh, that's even worse. It's even worse. Yes, it only goes up by 1. They ruined this badge completely and utterly. It is just not good ever now. I'm sure you could find a use in a Hammerman run, but good god, what did they do to this guy? It's bad. Oh, speaking of bad badges, Hammerman gives you +1 to all hammers and gets rid of jump. Jump is literally the best thing Mario can do. All of Mario's best moves are jumps, and jumping in general is just superior. You can attack any enemy. You only need Spike Shield or Ice Power to attack certain enemies, and there's not enough enemies in the game for that to be a huge factor. Hammer can only attack the front, and if you want to attack every enemy, you gotta spend a lot of FP. So yeah, Hammerman is not very good. Fun to do a Hammerman run, but not very good. It's just not worth it. So it's going right here. Okay, Happy Flower. Happy Flower is what I like to call harmless filler. It doesn't really mess you up. It doesn't really harm. It doesn't really help you too much. It just does things. It's the big issue is that it's a chance at getting 1 FP every turn. We're gonna put it above, or put it above all this. My daughter told me to put it here. I have to listen to her. The Happy Hearts, on the other hand, are actively detrimental. They do not help you very much. I've only gotten 1 good use out of it, and it's in my 10 HP Prologue Pit run from years ago. The Happy Hearts can get you out of danger. They can put you at bad HP, like they can sometimes be completely useless. And again, it's 2 BP for a 33% chance to get HP. It's not good. It's not good, fam. It's bad. And for partners, what are you doing? You don't need this for partners who have a ton of HP and you can swap them out. It's bad. I also think Happy Heart is basically the same. Would I put Happy Heart on over Hammer Throw? I'd maybe put Happy Heart on over these. Ooh, Head Rattle. Head Rattle might just be the worst badge in the game. So, Head Rattle is a hammer move, 1 BP, 2 FP, deals hammer damage, and has a chance to confuse an enemy. Unfortunately, confusion kind of sucks, because confusion is only a 50% chance for the enemy to do something. And sometimes that something is literally nothing. It's probably Hammer's worst move. So this might just be the worst badge in the game. There's some debate on the absolute worst badge, but Head Rattle is in contention for it. And again, you can only hit the front because hammer. So it's just like you're doing nothing with Head Rattle. Just nothing. I might need to move Hammer Throw. I think Hammer Throw might actually be worse. Hammer Throw might be worse than Head Rattle. No, I'm not sure. You know what? I actually need to move this. Let's leave these 2 here because that's where they need to be. I can't say Attack Effects G is the worst. I can't say Attack Effects G is the worst badge. It's just not. I don't know. I don't know if Hammer Throw, I don't know if Head Rattle is actually better than Hammer Throw, but it's definitely closer. So I think this is where they need to be. Oh, how the mighty have fallen with Heart Finder. Heart Finder is like Flower Finder, but partners, and its main use in Pre-Octo Pit was to get a partner who died into peril. But now partners revive when you run away at their 0 HP, all partners heal on level up, and partners revive to 1 HP after you win a battle. What? Heartfinder then is what? Good to keep your... It's good to keep your HP topped up, I guess? It can be used for that, but it's just so bad. It's just... I feel like they gutted every good utility that Heartfinder had. So it's pretty bad. I think it's pretty bad now. Now, I don't know if I can put it at bottom of D. I think it could be at bottom of D, but I'm putting it top of E. I really don't see a use for Heartfinder anymore. Keeping your HP topped up, it's like, what, a few HP here and there? I don't know. I just feel like you could just Sweet Treat or Sweet Feast or use an item. There's so many other things you could do. And again, partners automatically heal into peril for you. It's insane. All of that utility that Heartfinder provided is now gone. And so I think Heartfinder is just now, like J Easter said, it's filler. And this is where it's going to stay. I could see it in bottom of D, but not for me, personally, no. I'm putting it top of E. Okay, and now HP Drain E is a contender for one of the worst badges in the game, depending on who you ask. It's -1 power for 1 heart. You really almost never need to equip this badge. Now, you can make a strategy around this badge, but you have to be very, very intentional with it. It's still hard to do. It's just bad. It's... Why you need 1 HP for a partner? Why reduce their attack? Why reduce all of your partner's attack for them to recover 1 HP when they successfully perform an attack? No. It's bad. Again, could be it is in contention for the worst badge in the game. I think Head Rattle's a little worse, but really is HP Drain P better than Hammer Throw? Now, that's a good question. I guess all 3 of these are just kind of in this nebulous, they're all super duper bad area. Maybe we do need a separate tier for these 3. I might make one. Maybe we need to bring back the G tier. The Forbidden 3. Oh, there's more than just 3, Yoshi. Here's another one. HP Drain. Okay. HP Drain has some use. Like, you can do some stuff with HP Drain. But again, it's not gonna be great. You can do stuff with it because Mario generally has a little bit lower HP, so you can kind of work around it better. Again, with HP Drain P, you have to be intentional to get some use out of it. Mario, you can keep at 10 HP and kind of get some use. Otherwise, it's absolutely worthless, and there's no reason to use it. Like, if you're at 20 HP, toss this badge in the trash. Sell it immediately. Get your money. So I would put this... I mean, this badge is definitely F tier. I'm just figuring out where I want to put it. I think it's worse than... Is it worse than Hammerman? I think these two are really close. So. Okay. Now, in general, this badge is not in contention for one of the worst badges in this game. I think this badge is one of the worst. I think it's really, really, really bad. HP plus P. Because it's 35... So, total, it's 35 extra HP with Mouse. 30 otherwise. 6 BP. And... what have we learned from Defend plus P, Close Call P, Happy Heart P? What have we learned? HP Drain P. What have we learned from these badges? Partner health and defense doesn't matter. Why? Because you can just swap to another one. And so, down here it goes. Do I think... No, I'd use this before I'd use this. So yeah, this is, it's super bad. I don't know if it's on the level of these 3 anymore, but it's pretty freaking bad. Okay, HP Plus, on the other hand, is very good because, again, the flexibility of being able to change your max HP on the fly is powerful, especially if you combine it with something like Double Pain, because whenever you put on HP Plus, Mario's HP goes from odd to even, or from even to odd. The thing about HP Plus, though, is it's a little more... Like, you don't need to use it as much compared to FE Plus, where I feel like you can just use it whenever. So where am I going to put it? I'm thinking it's still B. Top of B? It's either low A or top of B. I think I'm going to put it right here. Top of let's talk about ice power. So this is probably gonna be a hot take for a lot of people. For challenge run people, this is no surprise, but for a lot of others, you're probably gonna be surprised with this placing. But ice power is really not that great. It's okay. And the reason why is because if you really think about how many fire moves there are in the game and how many fire enemies there are in the game, there's not enough to justify this badge being used very much. It's chapter 5, chapter 8, and some of the pit. That's it. There's no other enemies that have fire. That's it. It's only 2 sets of floors. It's the 40s and the 70s. That's all you're getting. Now it is only 1 BP, which is pretty good. It's not good enough to warrant being equipped all the time. You just don't need to have it on. It's a waste. So it's mainly filler. It's just a little something. It's like, oh, I'm fighting embers and I want to use multi-bounce? Sure. Put on ice power. You don't want to use scoops or earth tremor or an item, whatever. Sure. You don't want to use showstopper? Sure. Put on ice power. So here it goes. E tier. I'm sorry, fam. It's just not great. If more enemies were affected by this badge, it would go up. But the sad state of affairs is it's not very good. I do equip it though. But I actually think I equip double pain more than I equip ice power. Oh, and now we got ice smash. Ooh, ice smash is bad because it's hammer, and freeze is. I just feel like I don't know. I feel like enemies are not super susceptible to freeze in the first place. It's just not great. And like, again, it's hammer, so you can only hit the front. And there are enemies that actively resist ice. So it's really, it ain't great. So, you know, where am I putting this badge? I'll put it here. Ice, Jesus, item hog. Okay, item hog is the worst of the, well, not anymore, probably. Item hog used to be the worst of the finder badges. It was the worst of the 3, flower finder, heart finder, and item hog. Item hog was the worst. It's not anymore because heart finder has been gutted multiple times by the remake. So item hog has some good things going for it, but it's just still not that great. The chances, item hog is now the only way to get a fright mask in pre-hooktail pit, which is something, but it's like you still have to roll the fright mask, so it's still pretty bad. Like, people have been saying that item hog is just like really good in the pit, and like it's okay. I just did it earlier this week. I did my pre-hooktail pit with item hog, and I feel like I barely got anything from it. I got a couple things. It was cool, but like the drop rates are just inherently a little better in the remake. You never needed it in the full game. I would never equip this thing. It's better than Heartfinder, but not by much. That speaks to how good Heartfinder was before it got gutted, honestly. So yeah, I think it's right here. It's not the worst anymore, but it's better than Heartfinder, but again, not by much. And the pit runs it's nice, but it's just like it's not the best thing to equip. I think, because I need to do a run with Flower Finder, but I think I'd prefer Flower Finder. Oh, I guess Money is another Finder badge. Yeah, sorry, we usually don't rank Money, but I will rank it. Okay, Money is probably the worst one. Sorry. All right, we're getting into good badges now. We got some good badges coming up. Jumpman gets rid of your hammer, but gives your jump +1, which is actually +2 because every jump hits twice. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. So, and it's only 2 BP. This is Mario's best attack increasing badge. Jumpman is very, 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 very good. So yeah, and the thing is, again, you could equip Jumpman, not have ice power or spike shield, and you'd be totally fine. Why? Because you have items, you have special moves, you have partners. They can all deal with enemies for you. It's not like Mario's the only one attacking here, right? I don't know if I could put it now. I don't know if I can put this. I think I already have my S tier planned out. I do not think Jumpman belongs in it. I think it's right here, the tippity top of A tier. You don't always need to use this, by the way. Well, it's not like you need to use it, but it is great. And you'll see why in a moment, why you don't always need jump or other attack increasing badges. Let's talk about the last stands. Last stand P. Okay, so so far we've gone through defend plus P. We've gone through close call P. We've gone through HP drain P, HP plus P, happy heart P. All these things are an F because partner HP doesn't matter. But last stand P is useful. Why? Because like Mario, you can use last stand after point swapping from 5 FP to get into peril, which means it has real use, kind of like damage dodge almost. So last stand P actually gets some use. Everywhere else, besides maybe pre-hook tail pit, it doesn't matter. You do not need this in the full game, basically. It's unless you're doing some point swappy stuff with danger, you're not going to need this badge at all. Because again, you can just swap out to another partner. This will save your partner more than any of these will in danger from like using a life stream or just outright being KO'd. It will save you more than any other defensive badge. So I think it belongs right here, right now. Right now, above FP Drain in C tier. Now, the other last stand, Mario's last stand, is much more valuable. Because again, Mario can be at lower HP at all times. And in pre-hook tail pit runs, Mario is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane and clutch for living. Like, sometimes you can take a couple hits and you won't die because of last stand. Last stand can really save you. And so, last stand goes right here. Right below Jumpman. Alrighty, let's talk about some more luck badges. Lucky Day. Lucky Day. 7 BP for a 25% chance to dodge an attack. People hate on this badge. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what the consensus is right now, but back in the day, it was pretty lucky is better than Lucky Day. I think it's actually true. However, the saving grace that Lucky Day has is early pit runs. This is, you get the best value for evasion out of any other like challenge. If you're going into any other part of the game, this badge is not very good. In pre-hook tail pit, even like it's good to put it on because it can save you sometimes. It can be a lifesaver, especially against the 90s. Those enemies don't mess around, you know. So that's why it's okay. But in general, it's really not that great. Does it belong in E tier though? I feel like it can't. Maybe we're putting it bottom. I think that's probably fine. I think pre-hook tail, the early pit runs always kind of bump this thing up a little. Otherwise, it would be an easy E tier. Okay, let's talk about Lucky Start. Yeah, Lucky Start. You have a chance to be electric, dodgy, +2 HP, or +2 FP. And the +2, the stats are three turns each, including the first turn. Yeah, you just don't need that. And you might not even get the one you want. So what, you run away to get the one you want? No. Like, wait, you're just gonna run away every time? Like, and get the run penalties? Nah. It's not very good. It's pretty bad. To be fair, if you're like going for, again, if you want to keep your HP, FP kind of topped off, it's not too bad. Like, if it's not like insane, but it's really, really underwhelming. So, yeah, this is where it's gonna go. And it's 4 BP, by the way, which is like, what? Why is it 4 BP, man? This doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. Okay, it's probably better than Ice Smash. Wait, I think it's better than HP Trip. Wait, it's better than Happy Heart. Okay, I'll give it better than Happy Heart. But it's still F tier. Hold on. Ice Smash does look weird. You think it's still worse than Hammer Throw? I don't know about that one, Chief. Alright, hold on. You know what? I'm just gonna put the hammers right there. Keep them together. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. I probably need to make a new tier. You know what? Let's just do it now. Because it's getting a little cramped in the... It's getting a little cramped in the F tier. Alright, okay. Now it's time. It's time to get hopefully into some good badges. Let's move on to bigger and much better badges. Mega Rush P. Mega Rush P is the best badge in Paper Mario the 1,000-Year Door. +5 attack, 1 BP to get into peril. What have I been talking about a lot in the tier list so far? How to get into peril easily. Ways to get into peril. So this +5 is super easy to do. Once you figure out what you're doing with your strategies. You get it as soon as pre-hooktail, and you can use it for pre-hooktail pits, and it's insane. That's a lot of damage. You can basically wipe through the pit with Koops and Goombella. So it's the best. It is the best. If you really want to go crazy, you can swap out a peril partner to preserve it with quick change. Only really good in pre-hooktail pit. Otherwise, for bosses, you can just go in and get that peril and boom, they're probably dead. So there's a lot you can do with Mega Rush P because it's +5 attack, which is just insane. And with the added Power Lift buff, this just gets better. It just gets better and better. And then we're followed up immediately by our number 2 badge, Mega Rush, which is the second best badge in the game. And you might be thinking, Kappy, what the hell? Mario in peril? That's dangerous. No, it's not. It's not dangerous. If you know how to route your HP and FP well, this badge is a huge asset for you. And you can even use it in the pit. You could conceivably multi-bonk, rally wink, multi-bounce, rally wink, multi-bounce every loadout in the pit for free. The only thing that would kill you at that point is like stage hazards, which can happen, but you know, it's not like you can't have one life shroom on hand. And Mega Rush is worse than Mega Rush P. Well, actually, it doesn't matter anymore. Against bosses, it really just doesn't matter. It's just insane. Mega Rush, you know, Mario is one of the strongest attackers, and this just helps. I don't know if I got cut off, but yeah, Mega Rush, second best badge in the game. No question. Okay, let's talk about Money Money. Money Money is definitely the worst of the Finder badges, as this is like finds more coins. This badge used to have a use for coin grinding in the pit, but you get so many coins now from beating bosses and sell badges. The pit in general just gives you so many coins for no reason. You don't even need Money. And it's how much BP is it again? I can't even remember. I haven't equipped it installing. Is it 7 BP? Or 5? 5 BP. Okay. Yeah, 5 BP? Like, Flower Finder is 3! 3 BP! Yeah, it's bad. So, yeah, I can't decide whether I want to put it in G tier. I just feel like it's got no use. It's either bottom of F or top of G. I think I'm putting it top of G, fam. I think it's really bad. You don't need it. Okay, let's talk about Multi-Bounce. Multi-Bounce is a really interesting badge. Multi-Bounce is really weak early game and really strong late game. Like, really strong. Just to give you an example, I went through the entire Pit of 100 Trials in my playthrough using Multi-Bounce, Power Shell, and Shell Slam. And that's basically it. I barely used anything else. I swept everything, basically. And for some floors, I had Ice Power and Spike Shield on. Otherwise, it's just Multi-Bounce and all the attack you can muster. I didn't even need... You don't need Danger. You don't need Peril. I literally swept because I got them both deal 8 damage base. It's insane. So... But it's so weak early on. It's really not that good unless you're in Danger or Peril at that point. So it's tough to say exactly where this goes. However, I don't think I'm gonna... Last time I think I put it in C or something. I think it's a little better than that. I think I was waiting the early game way too hard. Because you can still use this in the early game after getting... Like, if you have Super Boots with Jumpman and 1 at Power Plus, you're still dealing 4 damage. Like, that's not bad. So, I think it's a little better than I was giving it credit for. And it scales really well into late game. So I actually think it's pretty good. And it's low FP cost. It's 2 FP. So one flower saver, it's 1 FP, and if you put on FP drain, you literally get to use multi-bounce for free. I think the big detractor for multi-bounce for me is that it's really not good until like chapter 3. Once you get some power and like fights aren't like destroying you, because chapter 2 you do not need this badge. Well, you can still use it in chapter 2 actually with super coops, but I think it's B tier. I'm just trying to figure out where on the lower end. I think it's lower B. I just need to figure out which badges I want to put it in. Might just put it over the savers. I think I'll put it over the savers. Okay, talk about P down D up P. P down D up P is not great. One thing it can be useful for is if you're going through the pit with a peril partner late game, you can use this to not die from stage effects now. It actually gets a little more value than Defend Plus because stage effects pierce. So even though you're reducing your damage by 1, if you're using it on, say, Yoshi with Stampede, Stampede does not care about 1 reduction in power. It's literally AoE ground pound. This can help save you from a dumb stage hazard. I actually think this is now better than Defend Plus P, for sure, because you could use Defend Plus P in the original to do the same thing. But now that they pierce, I mean, this is a little better. So I still think it's bad, but I don't think it's absolute garbage. So I think I'm putting it bottom of F. I don't think it belongs in G tier. I think bottom of F is probably, I would probably equip this over close call P, probably. E down, D up for Mario. I don't know what you're using this for with Mario. I guess you can kind of use it sometime. It's good for chapter 8 bosses because a lot of them pierce, but what else is it good for? But it does have some stuff you can use, and the -1 power is not the worst. Like if FP drain can be used, then so can P up D down. So I don't think it's G. Where am I gonna put this? Yeah, it is pretty good in chapter 8. Would I put it over Defend Plus? Actually, maybe I put it right under Defend Plus, because I think they serve kind of the same purpose. Well, you know, I'll put it right under because you can kind of filler Defend Plus more than you can P up D down. I think that's fine. Okay, let's talk about the flip side. P up D down E is the best partner attack increasing badge in the game, or so people used to think. I actually disagree, and it's only because even though it's 2 BP and that's 4 less than power plus P, you do not get this badge, again, like All or Nothing, until chapter 8. So you get to use it for some chapter 8 bosses and the pit if you haven't done it. Other than that, you're not even using the badge, which really tanks it. But it is still amazing because, again, partners don't care about taking damage. -1 defense does not matter for them because they have a lot of HP and you can swap to another partner. So it makes sense that P up D down P is on the flip side of where all the partner defensive stuff is. So I'm going to put it, now I do think this badge is better than All or Nothing. So that's basically where I'm going to put it, is right above All or Nothing. Because you get them in the same spot, and this is clearly a better badge. Actually, put this over Fire Drive too. I'll use Fire Drive below multi-bounce. Wait. Where do I put this? Fire Drive is good, and nope, early game pit is not going to wait so much that Fire Drive becomes better than multi-bounce. E up D down is the Mario E up D down, and it's actually very good because take Grotus for example. Let's say you want let's say it's 2 BP. So let's say you want extra power for both jump and hammer, or just extra power in general, and you've got 15 HP with double pain. You could then guard the lightning instead of just not guarding, and you take 14 damage still and get into peril. You can do the same thing for a couple other bosses. So this badge actually has a couple routes that you can make happen. Now, unfortunately, you don't get it until chapter 5 or 6, which is kind of tanks it a little because there's so many bosses in the early game you could really use this for. So I do think it's good, but I don't think it's probably the worst of the power increasing badges in general. Dude, I think I might move these flower. This B tier is huge. I need to move the flower savers down. We'll see. I need to look at the list once it's complete. We'll see how things fill out. All right, let's look at Peekaboo. You guys aren't probably, a lot of you probably aren't going to like where I'm going to put Peekaboo, but I do not think Peekaboo is very good. I use it a lot, actually, though. You know what I use Peekaboo for? For you guys, the viewers. That's it. And I'm not saying you need to memorize HP or anything, but like if you're routing HP and FP and you're kind of planning ahead, then you should already be planning for what damage you're dealing, so this becomes unnecessary. It's okay in the pit, but I don't know. It doesn't really matter too much. And it's 3 BP. I hate that. If this were 0 BP, it'd be fine, but it's not. You could just tattle. Is it 2 BP? Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping. I'm sorry if it's 2 or it doesn't matter. It's too much. So I think this is probably the bottom of F for me. It can be use this if you want, but it's not useful, really. You could just tattle. Okay, Piercing Blow. Piercing Blow is an interesting badge because it absolutely sucks except for early pit runs. And even then, it only gets good when you go further and further more restrictive. The more restrictive you get, the better it gets, usually. But even then, Fire Drive pretty much outclasses it in most cases. So you're really not going to be using Piercing Blow too much. It's really not that great. It's just like, it's not very strong. You don't really need to pierce defense too much. You can stack so much attack that most things don't matter, and you can just like use Earth Tremors, Heart Attack, or something else if you really need to. I don't think I equipped this once. This pre-hook tail pit, make this better than Ice Power. Sure. Oh, you know what? The Glitzpit Super Boss Piercing Blow can actually be okay. Wait, I'm gonna put it over Ice Power. Yeah. That boss helps. Yep. Okay, Pity Flower. Everyone thinks Pity Flower is one of the worst, is like the worst badge in the game. I'm here to tell you that you're all wrong. It's really bad, but it is not the worst badge in the game. Why? Because it's harmless. It's harmless 3 BP filler. It doesn't do anything to you. It's just sometimes you get an FP when you get hit. It's not great. It's really freaking bad. It's still G tier, but it is not the worst badge in the game. I would put it probably right here. Am I putting this above Defend plus P? I'm not gonna. Not yet, at least. We'll see. Okay. This is probably one people are interested in hearing. So Power Bounce, as everyone has been talking about the past few days, is kind of fucked up. It's got the 4 soft cap in it, but I'm gonna be real. It's still one of the best badges in the game because it's not like you can't deal damage with 4 bounces. I'm not saying get good and learn the timing. It's a stupid sudden drop in frames, and like it's gonna take a long time for people to like truly master it, but it's still insanely strong. You can still rally wink, double power bounce, and with the buff to power lift where you get basically a free +4 attack almost every time, it's even easier to deal more damage with less bounces. Yeah, power bounce still insane. It's still S tier type. No one should ever think otherwise. If you think the 4 bounce truly makes power bounce bad, then you're not using Peril enough, I guess. Like, there's no way this is any worse than S. Let's move on to Power plus P. I think Power plus P is better than P up D down P. I'm saying it now. Power plus P, you can get both of them by Chapter 3. The ability to deal 5 damage with super coops across the board in Chapter 3 is kind of insane. There's really nothing else to say about it. Yoshi starts at a base 3 already, supplemented by other stuff. Like, it's really good. I know it's a lot of BP. 6 BP is a ton of BP. But for 6 BP, getting all of your partner's attack increase is definitely better value than like Mario's, where it's only 1, right? Every partner getting +1 is very good. And so I think this is probably where it's going to go. Bottom of, better than first attack. You know what? I'm going to put it better than Flower Finder too. Power Plus is a little bit better than Yepty Down. Okay, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm putting this in B. I need to move these. I'm sorry. These are going to C. Yep. I can't. It's getting too big because this is going. So I think that this is better than All or Nothing because, again, you get 2 of these and you have it for almost the whole game instead of all or nothing. So, but I do think the up, D, down, P is better. I really don't think these are that much better though. My opinion of P up, D, down, P is really kind of soured. Jesus. But I also think charge has gotten much better. I've been using so much charge. So, like, I've just been using a lot of charge recently. Okay, do I think these are better? I think the powers are probably all better. Okay, now let's talk about two other amazing badges. Power Rush P. I think you already all know where this is going. It's S tier. Power Rush, S tier. Yep. This is it. These are your 5 best badges in the game. Mega Rushes, Power Rushes, Power Bounce. And you might be asking, Kappy, why is Power Rush not the best badge in the game? You can buy a ton of them and do infinity damage. I'm going to tell you why right now. It's unnecessary. You don't need it. You don't need it. You can get by at low level using just the Mega Rushes, basically. You don't always need the Power Rushes. Sometimes you can supplement with these other power badges. These could be better than Mega Rushes, but it's just not necessary. The Mega Rushes are just more efficient. You need so many, you need 3 of these badges to outperform Mega Rush. Yep, that's basically what it is. Power Bounce definitely worse than all of these. I think Power Bounce was always here, by the way. I always thought this was what it should be, the top 5 should be. Power Smash. Okay, so Power Smash, this is bad for me because I didn't buy Power Jump because I was being stingy, but I should have just bought it. Okay, but Power Smash is the first badge you get in the game. And it's okay. We did find out that Power Smash can be pretty fun to use because of the stage effects it can generate. I do think that makes it a little better. The stage hazards do kind of help, but I don't think it saves it too much. I do think it might move it out of E. It's definitely better than Piercing Blow. It might be better than Piercing Blow? Piercing Blow tier? But Piercing Blow's already E. I think Piercing... Wait. Yeah, I think Piercing Blow got worse because Prologue Pit. So I actually think Power Smash might be... It might just be a little better. I don't know if I want to move it to bottom of D or just move it above Piercing Blow and top E. That's where I'm at right now with Power Smash. You're gonna see why Power Smash is here. You're probably questioning. I'm gonna tell you why, okay? Like, honestly, you just have to give me a second. Let me cook. I'm putting it bottom of D. I'm putting it bottom of D. Nope, I'm not. Sorry, I can't do it. I can't take it out of E tier. I'm sorry. Nope. Okay, it's in E tier. Yep. It's just above Piercing Blow. I'm sorry, fam. This is the way it has to be. Do I need to move the Feeling Fines to F? I think I do. Yep. See if Feeling Fines. You can still be used, but not enough to be out of F. Now let's talk about Power Jump. Okay, this is something, I've been an advocate of this for a long time. And you may not agree with me, and that's totally fine, but this is my opinion, and that's why my list is gonna look this way, okay? Power Jump, you can get immediately after getting Power Smash for some coins in the bad shop. Once you have Power Jump, you have no reason to use Power Smash except for a couple enemies, maybe. Power Jump is just Power Smash, but you can hit any enemy. So why would I ever use Power Smash when I can just use Power Jump? And then we're like, Chapter 2, Clefs and Piranhas. You know what you can do to Clefs and Piranhas in Chapter 2? Upgrade Koops, give them a Power plus P, and sweep all of them with Power Shell. You don't even need to use Power Jump. And you know what is good in the Boggly Woods? Power Jump for the puffs, for the dark puffs that Koops can't hit. So there is no reason to use Power Smash over Power Jump. Power Jump outclasses Power Smash in almost every single way. It did get a little buff for pre-hook tail pit because Power Bounce is harder to hit more than 4 and Power Jump deals 4, so it is a little better. Not super better, but a little better. So I would probably put it's better than Chill Out, probably. Top of D though? Yeah, maybe actually. A little buff. I already would put it in D tier, but maybe instead of low D, now it's a little higher D. The only other issue that Power Jump has is that Spin Jump, the second you get Spin Jump, it's basically just better than Power Jump. Spin Jump is just better than Power Jump and Power Smash. Once you get Spin Jump, you don't need anything else. The Spin Jump is insanely good. Let's talk about Pretty Lucky P. If you've been if you see the trend of where I've been putting this kind of stuff, I think you already know where Pretty Lucky P's going. It's not good because it's just tiny % chance to dodge compared to Close Call. I mean, it's just like Pretty Lucky E is it's pretty bad. I think you could intermix these three, but this is definitely like the area of where it goes. This list, by the way, remember, just letting you know, this list doesn't really factor in Super Guarding too much. Pretty Lucky is also really bad. Where am I gonna put it? I can't put it 2 tiers below Lucky Day. I think I'd put it in the same tier that Lucky Day would be in if Lucky Day didn't have the pit, and that's E tier. It's just bad. It's just not necessary most of the time. And I'm not an evasion guy, so where am I gonna put it? I think bottom of E. Because I don't think it's better than P. I don't think it's better than P down D up for sure. But you can still get some use out of it in pit runs. Or you could, you know, sell it for money. There's also a use. Alright, let's talk about Quake Hammer. A lot of people like Quake Hammer. You're not gonna be happy with where I'm gonna put this. See, the thing is, while you can use Quake Hammer to flip over Koopas and Clefs, you can also just kill them. It's only really good in a few situations, like Dark Koopa Trolls, but even then, like, it's not like Multi-Bounce and Spike Shield is so inefficient. It's more BP for less FP, and the 2 base really hurts it. It only hits grounded enemies, truly grounded, by the way. It doesn't hit anything that's hovering. It's really subpar. It does pierce, which is nice, but there's just a lot of stuff you can do besides using Quake Hammer. So Quake Hammer does have some use, but it's not incredible use. So I'm gonna put it right here. The 3 hammers of E tier. Quick Change, another badge that a lot of people love. So obviously Quick Change is great in pre-hooktail pit if you want to do barrel stuff, but you don't necessarily need it for pre-hooktail pit, and you definitely don't need it in the full game. In fact, the only reason I had Quick Change equipped was so that I could get Tattles off and still keep a turn, just so battles could go faster. Not that I was in danger of dying or anything. I was just wanted things to go a little faster. That's all it was good for. It's really just unnecessary. You don't need it. Like, you just pick a partner and go, and otherwise swap a partner out and use it. Like, you have better things to spend your 7 BP on. It's the king of convenience. That's what Quick Change is, and convenience does not make a badge good. That's really it. There are so many other badges that are better. And like, again, if you're, and especially against bosses, if you're routing your HP, you don't need it because you already know what you're gonna do. It's pretty underwhelming. It's only good for convenience. Again, I really only used it because I wanted to tattle. Some of the partner mechanics kind of go against it. Being able to revive partners into peril from dying or running away. Full revive to all partners on level up crashes into the Quick Change's usefulness. I was only using it because I had the BP for it. Otherwise, I would have used something else. And I actually did a lot of Goombella swapping and then like Goombella tattling and then swapping and wasting a turn. But like, what, you're wasting half a turn? Saving half a turn is not really that beneficial. I just wanted to go faster because I had the extra BP. Otherwise, it's not really that useful. We might go a little crazy with this one. We're gonna put this bottom of B. It can't be C. I can't put it in C. I can't do that. It's still got its uses, but it's really not that good. It's not as good as you probably think it is. Okay, refund. Yeah, this badge. Did we even rate refund? No, we didn't. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, refund is kind of whatever. It's fun to use, but it's kind of whatever. It's like, this is more harmless filler. It's 1 BP, so I don't know. I might put it here. I'll put it above Item Hog because I don't know where to put this thing. It's refund. Maybe I put it in money. I don't know, it's 1 BP, man. It's fine. Well, okay, you know what? That's not true. I'll just put it here. And I'll probably swap that position as we go along. I didn't even get refund until after I beat the game. Maybe that actually, you know what? Hold on. Maybe that actually speaks to where I really should put it. Do I put this in G tier? I just don't think refund is that bad. Like, it's bad, but it's so harmless. Nah. I think you know what? I'm gonna put it right below money. Because if I'm actually gonna try to get coins, I'm using money more than I'm using refund. So I guess it is G. Peekaboo in G? You're right, bro. That looks good to me. Yes, fill up the worst badges. Make these bad badges tiers insane, because that's what this game is. Alright, let's talk about return postage. Another G tier badge, by the way. This badge is also in contention for one of the worst badges in the game. Where am I putting this? Am I putting this above hammer throw? Yes. I actually use this badge. Sometimes, for fun. Anyway, return postage sucks. 7 BP, and it's the spite status, which is whatever. One thing I noticed is that spite doesn't mess with Bowser's AI, which means electricity doesn't, which means return postage doesn't. That was one of the coolest things you could do with this move. With this badge, I mean. Oh, now it's just gonna be dumb. I don't know. I mean, damage routing with it is fun too, but I think this is the right placement because I think even though it got nerfed, I think hammer throw got the worst end of the stick. Shrink stomp. I don't know. It's got a you can use it sometimes, but shrink overall as a status is pretty bad because it just reduces attack by 2, which is cool, but besides pre-chapter 3, you just power lift, bro. Or use a damage dodge. Like, I just don't think enemies deal enough damage for Shrink Stomp to truly matter. Oh, yeah. Also, thank you. It competes with Mini Egg, too, for single target like bosses. Mini Egg has a much higher chance to shrink and deals more damage. So this is G tier because of Mini Egg. Put it right here. I have not really used Simplifier, to be honest. I do think Simplifier is really bad. Even though I have failed a runaway, I do think the runaway system now is easier for me. And for me, Simplifier was a way for me to run away more consistently. I don't know if I'd ever use that again. Maybe for level 1 pre-Oakdale Pit, but I don't really know. I don't feel like this does anything really. If this helped power bounce, I would actually use this thing, but it's just useless. I think it's more useless than it used to be honest. So normally I'd put this in F tier, but I do think this is G tier now. Now, to be fair, if you're bad at action commands, Simplifier does have a use, but I'm not a fan of I'm really not a fan of reducing your star power regen. I don't think the super boss in the Glitz Pit really makes this that much better. How many frames do you get for super guarding with Simplifier on? 1 with 2? Oh, okay, yeah, there's no way. Yeah, this is G. For sure. Where am I putting this? Probably worse than... Okay, it's really hard at this point to say where I would put this. Ranking bad badges is really tough. I don't know where I would order this. I don't know where I would put this. Would I put this above Shrink Stomp? Would I put it under these? Because I feel like I'd use this less. You know what? I'm just gonna go off how I feel about it. I think I would use this less than I would use Defend plus E. So that's where I'm gonna put it. Because at this point, these badges, it's like, it doesn't really matter where these go. They're all really bad. Maybe below, I think, maybe below Shrink Stomp. You know what? I use Peekaboo more than I use this, so I'll put it here. I'm not going to get too strung up on whether this goes below Refund or not. Okay, Sleep Stomp. Okay, we need to talk about this. Sleep got a huge buff. Now, I don't really know exactly, I still don't understand exactly what wakes up enemies now, but what I do know is that like normal jumps, like normal attacks in general, and like even some moves like power jump, fire drive, whatever, these don't wake up enemies anymore, which is insane. You can basically lock an enemy like you would with stop, and sleep is still a lot of turns. It's crazy good now, even better than it used to be. Sleeping Stomp was already pretty decent for Crypto Pit, but now it's better. It's a great move. Now, is it a huge buff? I mean, Sleep in general is a huge buff, but I don't think Sleepy Stomp is shooting up the tiers because of it. But it is insane just how good sleep is. It's so good that I would even bring sleepy sheeps, which I would never consider before. In the normal game, you really don't need sleep you don't really need sleep or anything. You barely need statuses, to be honest. Like, you can use it sometimes to be fun, but you don't need statuses. I don't know where I'm gonna put I don't know if I can put this in B tier though, because I do feel like top of C is probably a good place for it. Because even though it might be a little better, it probably competes with quick change now, but overall, I think this is fine. It's time to do soft stomp. Soft stomp is a pretty niche badge. It can be used as a poor man's power rush for enemies with 2 defense by lowering that defense to 0. Otherwise, it's kind of whatever. Most enemies don't have more than 3 or more than 2 even. A lot of enemies have 0 defense, so soft stomp does literally nothing. So it's just tight. I actually use this thing in strategies, so I'm gonna put this above these. No, I'm not. I'm gonna put it below power smash. Actually, no, I'm gonna put it below ice power. Maybe not above the hammers, because it's still pretty niche. But this is probably where I'd put it. Maybe better than... No. I don't really equip these except for Pit, and I actually use this for strategy sometimes. So this is fine. Still E tier. Okay, Spike Shield. This is another one that a lot of people love. You're not gonna like where I'm gonna put this thing. Let me tell it to you straight, chat. Like Ice Power, there are not enough spiky enemies in this game for Spike Shield to be incredible. That's really the fact of the matter. In fact, no boss is spiky, so you don't need it for any bosses. There's only a few enemies that really matter because it competes with things like Earth Tremor items. Now, there are more spiky enemies than fire, so it's better than Ice Power for sure, but I think this is probably better. I mean, it is better than Ice Power. I don't think it's bottom of D. I think I'm just gonna put it above the hammers. This E tier is insane. Do I move Pretty Lucky down? Yeah, it's just not great. You just don't need it half the time. You equip it for a few floors and that's it. Like, partners can also do a ton of heavy lifting. And if you want to be really nitpicky about it, you can literally wipe every single loadout with Peril Yoshi. Super PLP. So appealing got a little buffed in this remake. I still don't understand it fully just yet. I gotta study a little. But I think the super appeals got a little better. I still don't think they're great, but they might be a little better. Maybe not G tier. Maybe a little better than, like, I might put it. Yeah, I mean, I think the buff to appeal indirectly buffs the super appeals, right? So I do think they're a little better. Like, I'm considering putting them both in E tier. Wow, we have too many E tiers. I gotta move some stuff after this. Or maybe this is just how big E tier is gonna be. I don't know. Maybe there's just a lot of badges in that range. I would put super PLP is definitely worse than super appeal because you get super appeal earlier and you can use it for pre-Oaktail pit runs. I mean, super PLP can still be good though. I mean, you do get it in chapter 2, right after beating. Well, actually, as soon as you get super boots, you can. I would probably put this above. What am I gonna put this? Probably above soft. Well, lower above soft stomp. I haven't used appeal. This is first impressions, so I will make a more tier list that changes some things around. I think right now I'm putting it above soft stomp, and I'll put this probably. I don't know if that's where they should be, but I feel like that's not too bad. That might be a little generous, but I do think the appeal buff is. I don't know. The appeal seems insane. I felt like appeal was kind of cracked when I was doing Bricktail Pit. Okay, timing tutor. I'm sorry, timing tutor goes in NA. What am I thinking? Tornado jump it's just bad. I'm sorry. It's just I can't even. It's just really bad. But the question is it how bad is it? It's G tier, but where? Where in G tier does it go? Probably worse than Shrink Stomp. Probably right here. And the reason why is because the tornadoes are. It defies classification. What do you mean by that? So tornado jump is 3 FP for jump damage, and the tornadoes are 2 piercing that don't get buffed by attack buffs, and it only hits hovering or flying enemies. Its stylish is deemed by the game worse than average? That's messed up, bro. How? The stylish is actually one of the coolest parts of this badge. What? The game thinks it's worse than average. Yeah, you're doing a bunch of rolling backflips into a handstand? Nah. That's not cool at all. That's not stylish. So yeah, I think just putting it above Peekaboo is probably fine. Okay, Unsimplifier. Interesting. I don't know where to put this. Probably in the same tier as Simplifier, or maybe maybe an E tier or F tier. It's tough because it got nerfed a little because action commands in general give less star power. So what am I using Unsimplifier for now? Is the boost significant? I don't even know. I haven't really tried it, but I feel like it probably isn't just based on the star power you're generating, which kind of nerfs it. You could use it in certain challenges, like no super guards, to get a little more star power, but maybe this is the boost that those moves need, because you could really use it for some stuff. So I feel like maybe it is G tier now because of this nerf. It makes PB even worse. Well, okay, that's fair too, actually. Okay, maybe that's enough definitely to put it into G. Am I just gonna put it right by Simplifier? I think I will, because that nerf is pretty big. 2 super tight jump, that's kind of insane actually. Plus the regen nerf in general. I think that's enough to put it there. Is it better than Simplifier? I don't know. Maybe Simplifier is better. Now, maybe the nerf really pushes it down. I mean, if you're not using Power Bounce, I guess you could still get a use out of Unsimplifier still. So I won't put it above, like below Simplifier. And then, Zap Tap, the final badge. Zap Tap also got gutted. It is so sad. So originally, Zap Tap was already not too great. It was pretty meh, but you could use it for bandits, badge bandits, swoopulas, swampires, fuzzies, etc. to stop them from attacking. Now it still works on fuzzies. It still stops bandits from stealing. Swoopulas now have a chance to dodge it by using an attack that doesn't suck your HP for some reason. And it doesn't work on spiky parabuzzies. The one of the biggest things you use Zap Tap for was in Projectile Pit. If you didn't have an item to kill 4 spiky parabuzzies, you could at least guard the spiky parabuzzies attacking Mario with Zap Tap and just sweet treat and defend. Now you have to super guard them. You have to, unless you have an item. If you have an item, you're golden. But if you don't, you have to super guard them. You can't use Zap Tap anymore. What the fuck? What were they doing? Why did they do this? So you can still use it for Swampires, but these are some pretty sizable nerfs. So it's even worse now. But how much worse? Is it worthy now of being in F tier, or is it E tier? Where do I want to put it? Because Swampires and Fuzzies are still it's still good at blocking those, and it still blocks bandits from stealing. So you can still get some use out of it. Do I want to put it in F, or do I want to put it in E? I'm feeling like E. I'd probably use it over Happy. Like, I'll still use, well, okay, I'm using it over these two. Sorry. Because I'm using this over these two in the pit, right? And that's what I'm using these two for mainly, and Zap Tap for mainly. So yeah, I think it's better than these two. Let's take a look at the list real quick. I think this looks weird to me. Multi-bounce looks weird here, but I feel like maybe it doesn't look weird. Maybe it's just the badge looks too big. I'm trying to think. This is probably, okay, I probably need to move Quake Hammer down a little, right? I think I'd use Quake Hammer more than Soft Stomp, but I think Super Appeal might be better than Quake Hammer. Well, I don't know. I think Quake Hammer is better than Zap Tap at least, and Soft Stomp. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna put this bottom. I'm gonna put Bum Attack bottom of D. Does this look right to me? Top 5 worst badges. Head Rattle, the 3 hammers, HP Drain P, and Return Postage. Does that look okay? These look good. These look good. This looks good to me. I guess you could move Power Rush over Power Rush P, but it doesn't really matter. I think these 5 are probably pretty good, though. Yeah, actually, I think this list looks pretty solid. Like, it's not all super ordered. Pretty happy, I think. I think the only thing that really changed for me was the charges really moving up for me personally, because I've been using it so much more lately, and I've been getting a lot of value out of like the really specific charge into weird double dip things. I guess insane mode kind of helped with that. Actually, I'm gonna move power plus. I'm gonna do this. No, nope. Wait, I want to move these lower, but I don't know where to put these under. Maybe this is worse than P up down. I don't know. Actually, no, I can't. I actually really like where these are for me. Maybe I move HP plus into A. Because some of this is also just like, it's like, I mean, obviously I'm trying to be more objective, but it's also a little bit of personal preference. Like Flower Finder probably shouldn't be here in A tier, but I really like Flower Finder. And it's a first impression, so this is kind of going off a little gut feeling too. I'll be a little more critical in my next tier list. I think as a first impressions, I think this list looks kind of solid. Let's save this. I need to log in. Just download it. You know what? I'll just post them all on Twitter later.